History was always more than just a subject to me. It was a compass, a calling. After years of study, I finally found myself in the field, caked in dust with a brush in hand, dreaming of greatness. I joined a multinational excavation project in the southern deserts of Egypt, far beyond the tourist maps, following a trail of half-deciphered records from the library of Alexandria's lesser-known scrolls. They pointed to a forgotten Roman outpost, once tasked with watching the shifting border of the Nubian frontier. We were expecting to find little more than a way station, a few broken columns, a hearth, maybe coins of Hadrian or Antoninus Pius. But what we uncovered buried beneath the burnt remnants of the structure was beyond anything we could have imagined. A lead-sealed scroll preserved in an oilskin pouch, and somehow, against all logic, untouched by fire or decay. The scroll was written in Latin, the ink still shockingly visible. Its author was a Roman officer, a centurion named Gaius Maevius Aquila, and the tone of his writing was desperate, rushed, almost like a confession. I read the first few lines and felt something coil in my chest. This was not military log or local census. It was a testimony, a warning. What follows is the full, translated text of that scroll. We have done our best to maintain its grammar and cadence, as it appears to have been written in one sitting. As disturbing as it may seem, it has not been altered for dramatic effect. Testamentum Gaii Maevi Aquili. Gaius Maevius Aquila, of the 10th cohort of Legio Viarithian Deotariana. Write this in haste, though I know not if any will read it. My hands are not steady, and the fire of the southern winds presses against the walls of this fort like a curse. The men are dead. I alone remain. I write not to seek pity, but so that Rome and the world may one day understand what passed here. In the 9th year of Emperor Antoninus Pius, I was sent to command a minor post near the second cataract of the Nile. Officially, we were to oversee supply routes and monitor Nubian movements. But there was another task given to me, whispered in the halls of Alexandria by men whose faces I never saw clearly. An ancient thing had been found, a relic buried in the sand, unearthed by desert storms and the greed of locals. I was told it was a statue, a curiosity. I was to retrieve it and hold it in the outpost until scholars from Rome could arrive. We never questioned orders. The artifact was delivered in a cart by 3 Egyptians who spoke no Latin, their eyes hollow, their lips stitched with silence. It was wrapped in a black sailcloth, bound in chains. It weighed little, and yet the mules that bore it collapsed before the gate. The Egyptians fled as soon as they handed it off, vanishing into the dusk like wraiths. We brought it inside. My Optio, Lucanus, cut the chains and peeled away the wrappings. What lay beneath was not a statue. It was a sarcophagus, but not of Egyptian make. The design was wrong. It bore no hieroglyphs, no Roman symbols either, just an etched circle on the lid, filled with jagged, intersecting lines. As we uncovered it, every torch in the room flickered at once. Lucanus laughed, but his voice cracked. I remember this clearly. The shadows moved even where no man stood. We left it sealed that night. The next morning, we found one of the watchmen, Marcus Varro, dead outside the barracks. His eyes were open wide, as if he had seen something vast and terrible. There were no wounds, no signs of poison. Only a circle burned into the flesh of his chest. The men became restless. Rumors spread. They said the wind now whispered at night, that the dogs refused to enter the chamber where we stored the artifact. On the fourth night, I awoke to silence so profound it seemed to suffocate sound itself. I dressed and took my sword, walking to the storeroom. As I neared, the torches along the corridor died one by one. The door to the chamber was ajar. I stepped inside. The sarcophagus was open. There was something standing next to it. Not a man, not a beast. Something that wore the shape of a man, but its limbs were too long, and its skin gleamed with the hue of polished obsidian. It had no face, only a shifting mass of darkness where a head should be. It turned to me without moving. I felt its gaze pierce my thoughts. I dropped my sword. I could not scream, I could not move. It stepped toward me, and I fell to my knees. "You are not ready," it said, though no mouth moved. "But you will see." I awoke in the courtyard, surrounded by my men, sweating, shaking, and raving. They said they found me clawing at my eyes, muttering words in a tongue no one knew. I had no memory of returning to my quarters, but the sarcophagus was closed again, its seal unbroken. The next days were madness. Men saw things in their sleep, faces of their mothers long dead, warning them to flee. Food spoiled within hours. The well turned black, and nothing quenched our thirst. 2 soldiers took their own lives. Another tried to kill me, screaming that I was no longer myself. I sent messengers to Alexandria. None returned. On the 9th night, we heard it again. The chamber door opened of its own accord. A low hum filled the air, like a great machine waking. I ordered the chamber burned. The fire would not catch. The air grew cold despite the desert heat. The creature, if I dare use that word, emerged again. This time it was not alone. Shadows moved behind it. 10, 20, hundreds, all bearing that same faceless black shape. "We were here before," it said. I begged it to leave us be, to return to the sand. "You opened the gate," it replied. "Now the sand will remember." It raised a hand, and then silence. When I awoke, I was the only one left alive. The camp was in ruin. My men, all of them, lay still, untouched by blade or fire, their faces twisted into peaceful smiles, their hearts silent. I buried them with Roman honors, though I do not know if it matters now. I write this knowing that I will not leave this place. I am no hero. I fear I have been chosen to bear this memory until the end of my days, and yet I do not age. My wounds heal. My beard no longer grows. I remain exactly as I was the night the gate was opened. Do not seek this place. Do not follow the whispering winds of the desert. Burn this scroll if you are wise. If you do not, then mark my words. It waits. It watches, and it remembers. Ave Roma. Forgive me. End of scroll. We don't know what became of Mavius. No records remain of a Roman outpost matching his description in official archives, at least none available to the public. The scroll is now housed in a private collection, sealed from further academic review. No copies will be published under my name. I have chosen to remain anonymous. Whatever truth lies behind his words, I leave it to you to decide. But should you ever find yourself walking through the dunes near the old cataracts and the wind turns suddenly silent, turn back